Welcome. What?
Huh? Huh?
Sorry.
Huh? 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 Well, I'm
I mean,
still I pulled the money out, but we all lost, so
you're
we can
still you're
come up.
still technically either Tony's in charge or there's chaos in the streets. It's one of the two.
Well, I'm yeah, we can wait on that. We can wait on
Yeah,
that. And I'll vamp for a sec while Ryan's away from his keyboard.
yeah.
Um, we're going to Gambletown. I'm still your reigning despot,
Commissar.
but as you can tell, I've already started enjoying the fruits of the people with my pearl necklaces and uh, very expensive chains. So
Anytime I hear pearl necklace, I'm like, you completely missed the point of that story.
never, nope. I um First off, excellent reference. Second,
Yep.
last week I went 3-2. Ryan went 3-2. Waleed went 2-3.
But
I hit I hit both my parlays, so I'm trying to play catch up here. You guys went
yeah,
0-4 combined.
he's gunning for Parlay King too.
Dude, that Jameis Winston was so lucky that fourth quarter.
Dude, I literally on the spreadsheet had marked it as a lost bet, and then when I went back later to look, I'm like, wait, this bet hit? Like I was looking because I tail everything,
Right. Yeah.
and tailing the show yet last week was a good thing because you hit two parlays and we had a winning record, so technically you made money.
And I got to tell you guys, like, look, that's life. Bad beats are bad beats, and most important is dudes being healthy because they're humans first and football players second. So
Yeah,
obviously, like, rest up, Chris Olave, um, and AJ Brown's back already, so life is good.
yeah.
Um, go to hell, Derek Carr. That was an awful ball you threw. So our records on the season, I'm 20-25. Ryan
Legend still has
29-16.
it that Michael Thomas is yelling about it as we speak.
Not a big lover of Derek Carr.
Yeah.
Waleed's 18-27. Parlays go Waleed 5-13, Ryan 4-14, myself 3-15. So everyone's within a game of each other
Yep.
as we get to trying to get our way back to 500. So let's just do it. Let's roll up our sleeves. We got four teams on by this week, so we're down a couple games. So let's get after it. We're gonna start with Germany. We are gonna go to Berlin. Is it in Berlin? I don't fucking know.
It's
Giants.
maybe Hamburg. I don't know.
Giants are on the road technically, but they are road favorites. Minus 258 at DraftKings. Carolina are home dogs, plus 238 on Profit X. Spread 6.5. Total 40.5. Waleed, why don't you start us off?
Real quick, the Germany game is in Munich.
Munich. Yes.
Okay. On this game, I don't have anything, but there are a couple of things I like, but I think they might get covered. So I'm gonna just like throw in some of my thoughts at, when they're talked about.
All
So I'm
right.
just gonna defer here.
Ryan, what do you think, baby?
This game could be sneaky good, honestly. It's an international series, so hopefully, I mean, both these defenses aren't that great. Um, I kind of think that Malik Neighbors and Tyrone Tracy might have a really good days. Um, I don't have any top five bets from this game. I'm just going to be very excited to watch another international series game. I know Tony
Best
has
one
a
of the
couple
year.
things.
Yeah. So I will say with the Malik Neighbors, because that was one of the things that I had flagged. Carolina for wide receivers lined up wide. On the season, giving up 9.6 yards per target. Over the last 4 weeks, just 9.3, but they're like giving up top 10 yards in boundary receivers. So that speaks well for Malik Neighbors. In DFS, I kind of like Danny Dimes this week just as a cheap option. I think he's got some real potential. And I do like Tyrone Tracy, but I'm going to let Tony talk about that one.
Really quick before Tony talks, I just want to point out that there have been three Germany games so far, and all three Germany games have finished as unders
Yep.
and at least 8 points below the total.
And that's
So,
and that's kind of why I don't like Malik Neighbors this week, and that makes me feel like it's a running back week. Like I
sure.
like him, it's a good matchup, but like I have my concerns for overseas guys.
I
Covering
am
Tracy.
I mean, I'll got some Tyrone Tracy shit to talk when you're ready.
I want to hear it.
Go ahead.
But I did want to say on the Malik Neighbors topic that he's gonna score a touchdown because there's one play that they're gonna let a German determine what sort of route he's gonna run, and he's gonna call it a 9. So they're gonna throw a long ball to Malik Neighbors. Gonna score a touchdown. Thank you. Fucking gulag. Don't you boo me. So when it comes to Tyrone Tracy, look, he's got a great fucking matchup. Like, this is the best running back matchup of the week, in my opinion. He's been, even though Singletary's healthy again, Tracy's the guy now.
Yeah.
Since Devin Singletary came back, Tyrone Tracy has a 71% snap share.
And that's one of the things on the waiver wires. When I was doing waiver wire articles, I was pointing out that people are worried about Devin Singletary coming back. But the comment I made was, with how Tyrone Tracy is playing, he looked significantly better than Devin Singletary. Is Devin Singletary being healthy going to make a difference? And so far, it hasn't. It's the Tyrone Tracy show.
Correct.
He's average, and over the last 4 weeks, Carolina is allowing 5.1 yards per carry to opposing running backs.
Yeah. They, on the season, allow 132.9 rush yards per game to opposing running backs. Yeah. Now, the last thing I'm going to say, because Tyrone Tracy's rushing line at 72.5 is one of my top 5 bets of the week. Tyrone Tracy's line on Wednesday on FanDuel was 65.5. On Friday, I got it at 72.5 on FanDuel. And right now, Tyrone Tracy on FanDuel, his rushing line is 75.5 on FanDuel.
Oh, wow.
Oh, God. And the
What
best you're
10
going to get
yards.
is BetMGM has him at 74.5. Also Bet Rivers. So, that line is consistently shooting up for a reason. Did you have more on Tyrone Tracy?
No, not really. You can go ahead.
I'm going to throw one other thing here. On the flip side, Chuba Hubbard, because the Giants' run defense has been getting significantly worse, and Chuba just got paid for a reason. He's over the last 4 weeks, Giants are giving up 5.2 rush yards per attempt, and his line is at 65.5. I think Chuba Hubbard's a decent line. I'm not really betting him sports line, but I think he's a solid DFS play this week.
If you're doing single game slates, because they're not part of the main slate.
Oh, you're right. With that caveat.
Yeah, I'm going to go back to that caveat when we do our DFS lineups, but we'll talk about that when we get there.
All right.
All right, are we good to move on?
We are.
All right, let's head to the next one. We're going back to America, for better or worse. Bears at home, visiting Patriots. Bears are minus 260 home favorites. Patriots plus 238 on the money line to win. Spread is 6. Total's 39. Ryan, what do you got?
All right, guys. One of my top 5 bets this week against a horrible New England rushing defense. And I think you guys got him too, right? DeAndre Swift's over 71.5 rush yards.
Nope. That's not the one we're sharing.
It's not?
Nope.
I thought one of you guys had him too.
No.
I guess not.
I have no... I've learned my lesson. Tony gave me a good talking to. I'm not betting Bears players on this show anymore. Until they win 2 games in a row, then I will lose my mind again because I'm an idiot.
No.
That is sacrilege, Wally.
You guys are... He buried the lead there. He said, I'm not betting Bears lines on the show anymore.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He's still betting them.
I'm not. I'm not this. Not this week. I'm not. But I'm not saying anything. I won't speak to later. Yeah.
I think that the Bears hopefully develop a more run-heavy game plan with this game, and Swift should be a benefit of that. At least get his rushing yards and a touchdown. The Patriots, though, however, this could be close. They've covered in back-to-back games, but they did start the season 0-5 against the spread. 6.5. The way that New England's been playing and the way the Bears have been playing, seems like New England might cover it. I'm pretty sure, and I hope that the Bears win. Otherwise, they better fire Eberflus. But DeAndre Swift, Bears money line. I'd be afraid to bet the spread because it might be decided by field goal.
Yeah.
20-17, something like that. I'm staying away from the points total too. So Bears money line, DeAndre Swift, like it.
All right. Waleed.
So I actually think you're wrong about which run defense is the worst run defense because it's actually Chicago right now. Chicago's giving up 5.1 yards per rush attempt on the season, but over the last 4 weeks, that number's gone up to 5.24. Like they've been getting worse and worse against the run, and they've lost Billings. And right now, you can get like for 50 at 53.5, you can get Ramondre's rushing over, which feels kind of low with how the Bears' run defense has been. And because of Drake May, they're going to run the ball. I think Ramondre
Oh.
is a much safer running play than DeAndre Swift at this point. In this week, I think Ramondre is also a decent DFS play this week. The other guy that I kind of have earmarked is Cole Kmet. Over the last 4 weeks, on inline routes, New England is giving up 10.3 yards per target to the tight end. The only reason why I can't make myself bet it is I'm not like betting things, but at 25.5, that's a really low line for Komet. Like that's something that he should be able to get in a neutral matchup. So I think it's a good line. My only concern is like Shane Waldron didn't have any routes designed for him last week, and I don't understand it. So
The last
it's
two
kind
weeks
and
were
that
horrible
was
for him.
just as good a matchup last week.
It's greasy
Right.
wheel. It's going to be a greasy wheel game for Komet.
Yeah, that's kind of what I hoped, but
It's
like
greasy wheel, whatever. Greasy.
yeah, I think Komet's a nice DFS play this week is what I will say.
On the TH
cheap.
Fantasy podcast
Yeah.
that dropped this morning,
Yeah.
one of Shane's props was Prize Picks, where you can do fantasy points over under full PPR. His line was 6 fantasy points.
That's a great over. I think I like that. I might have to get into Price Picks really soon. I don't know why I've been putting it off. I also kind of want to point out on the flip side, the actual better tight end matchup here is for Hunter Henry. Over the
Oh,
last 4
You don't
weeks,
say.
yeah, tight ends are getting 11.5 yards per target. At 43.5, I think that's a decent line for Henry. He's been pretty solid. He's been pretty consistently a good tight end this year.
Oh yeah,
So-
well, just so happens that on TH Fantasy, he's my mid-tier kind of shitty tight end of the week.
Oh, yeah.
Of the week.
And I haven't even listened to the episode. This is it. Like Ryan and I are syncing up on tight ends. That's when you know it's a good
That's
tight
right.
end.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
when you know you're in.
I
All
like
right, so
I like 43.5 is a good number for him. I think he gets that because I think the Bears are going to be hopefully playing ahead by at least a field goal or a touchdown. They're
God,
go-
I hope so.
they're gonna have to pass. So I think Hunter Henry gets involved. I mean, what he had 8 targets last week, 56 yards.
So I have a top 5 bet of the week in this game, and it's a line that I don't usually bet because I don't like to bet it because I think it's fucking stupid, but I think this week it's a lock. And that is Drake May over 28.5 rushing yards.
Ooh, Tony's going after my heart with quarterback rushing yards.
If he's completed 3 games this year and he's averaged over 50 rushing yards per completed game.
That's
True.
that's a good line too. Is Montez Sweat playing?
Yes.
Was
And
it,
on
was
top
it
of that,
last week or the week before he went off for like 70 yards or whatever?
last week he went, or against Tennessee, he went
Yeah,
8
like-
for 95.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
So
Yeah.
so I
he's
got
got
some more,
wheels.
I got some stuff here. Drake May has dropped back to pass 158 times this season. He has been pressured 59 times this season. And on his 59 dropbacks with pressure, he's scrambled on 18 of those. So
Okay.
he's scrambling on over 30% of his pressured dropbacks, second to only Jaden Daniels. Patriots allow the most pressures in football. Bears are 7th in pressure rate. This just seems to me like Drake May is going to rip off a couple long ones at some point. Bears have
Sure.
always been susceptible to running quarterbacks with the way that zone system works
hmm
because it's a zone trail system and it's garbage. So, anyways, that's my play. You guys ready to move on?
I am ready to move on.
All right. Minnesota going to Jacksonville. Minnesota, major road favorites, minus 300 money line. Jacksonville home upsets plus 276. Spread is 6.5. Totals 43.5. No Trevor Lawrence, I believe. So
Pretty
have fun
sure
with
he's
that.
not playing.
Ryan, go ahead. What do you got?
Yeah, he's out.
Yeah. One of the reasons this is top 5 bet of the week. Minnesota is most likely going to dominate this game and be playing ahead the whole time. So I'm going with Aaron Jones rushing over at 70.5 yards. Sam Darnold and Justin Jefferson might not even have to play the second half. So I think that 70.5 yards seems pretty easily attainable. I'm also taking Minnesota in my money line parlay for this week and taking a Justin Jefferson touchdown for my millionaire bet.
Okay. Okay. Anything else?
Um, I don't know. I'm hesitant to bet the points total, even though Jaguars have gone 5 straight games, I think, going over the total.
Yeah,
But
but that's counting on
we,
Mac Jones as opposed to
right,
Trevor
right,
Lawrence.
exactly. So, um, I'm staying away from that trend. But yeah, I'm all over Aaron Jones this week. Jaguars defense is horrible. Um, and I like a nice little cute Justin Jefferson touchdown.
Love to see it. I have nothing for the show in this game. I did put $10 on Jefferson to go over 92.5, but I don't have enough. I don't want to put that on my record because of possible game script. So that's all I
Sure.
got. For the show, I have nothing. So Waleed, what do you got?
Oh, I think I'm not worried about possible game script. I think like the guys that I like in this game are Sam Darnold and Justin Jefferson. Um and sorry, my kid walking in looking for his glasses. I knew I should have brought him out beforehand.
Yeah.
So Sam Darnold, like Jacksonville's, they're one of the worst giving up yards to quarterbacks. So I think Sam Darnold is interesting. I don't think I'm going to bet his over because I'm betting Justin Jefferson's over, and that is one of my top 5 bets of the week. But it's worth noting that
Sure.
from a pass yard standpoint, 243.5 is a pretty low line against Jacksonville. I think it's very attainable, and Sam Darnold has been pretty consistent. But Justin Jefferson, like on my usage model, he hit all 4 points. Uh, Jacksonville, like on the season's given up over 9 yards per target to wide receivers, but over the last 4 weeks, 9.5. For wide receivers lined out wide, they're giving up 10 yards per target. So everything matches up, and over the last 4 weeks, 9.8. Basically, they're pretty much a top 5 matchup in every category that I look at on a usage basis. On top of that, I think Justin Jefferson, like this is just a pure gut feeling here. He saw Jamar Chase just get 238 yards, and he's no longer the receiving leader. I think Justin Jefferson knows that. Those guys compete against each other. I think he's going to be a little bit of a squeaky wheel this week. I think he's going to get those yards. I'm not worried because I think he's going to hit 100 yards in the first half, frankly. Not only do I like him as one of my top 5 bets of the week at over 92.5, I also have one of my parlays of the week. I used a boost on this one, too. I got him at 92.5, like over on receiving yards, over 6.5 receptions. I got a Justin Jefferson touchdown, and I got the Vikings minus 2.5. I took a little adjusted line. This is my safer parlay because I like to have one that's like a little bit more reasonable. And let's be honest, if Justin Jefferson hits 92.5 yards, there's a good chance he has 6 or 7 catches. The receptions is what has me nervous, but the only way I could get my boost on DK was to add like a 4th leg, and I'm just going to stick with it and trust that he's going to get what he's going to get.
All right.
Okay.
By the boom, just by the Justin Jefferson boom week. Moving on.
Yep.
Pittsburgh, Washington. The Commanders are home favorites minus 142. Pittsburgh is plus 128. Spread is 2.5. Total is 44.5. Waleed, you're on a roll. Keep it going.
Well, there's one thing here that I really love, and that is Najee Harris. Najee
That is
Harris has
right.
been really good, and this is the one that all of us agree on. I don't know if
Yep.
that's happened this season, but all 3 of us have this in our top 5 bets of the week. I'm going to tell you why really simply. Then I'm going to let it move on. First off, on the season, Washington's giving up 5.2 rush yards per attempt. They're also doing that over the last 4 weeks. I mean, 5 yards per carry, and Arthur Smith going to run the ball. Najee's line is only 64.5.
60.
That's
Yeah.
a pretty low line for him this year. Like in good matchups, he has eaten.
Good. Goddamn right. That's my top 5 bet of the week is Najee's rush. So Ryan, do you have anything
Yeah.
else you want to add, or just all three
Yeah,
of us say Najee's great?
no, yeah, we're all in on Najee Harris. Mike Tomlin's gonna have to go in this game and think the only way to beat Washington is gonna be controlling the clock. So that means a lot of running. Pittsburgh right now, I believe, is fifth or sixth in the league in terms of time of possession, averaging over 31 minutes a game. So I think Tomlin's gonna really have to lean on that because that's how you're gonna have to beat Washington, and it's not gonna be in a sling it out shootout, obviously. Um, Also another guy that I like in this game is my secondary mid-tier kind of shitty tight end of the week at 5,200 on FanDuel and DFS, Mr. Pat Fryermuth.
The Muth.
Uh, yeah, his line, I believe it was at, let's see, it's 26.
Okay.
Fryermuth is at 25 and a half right now. So I am actually my same game parlay is from this game. So I'm taking Najee Harris's over 66 and a half, a Najee touchdown, and Fryermuth's over 25 and a half. That comes out to 420 plus 423. I put $8 down and to win a little over 40.
Okay.
I like it.
Okay. All right. Cool. Then let's roll on to the next one. This game should be a lot of fun.
I want to say one thing real quick with this. One thing that is worth noting, George Pickens, I think at 63.5 is an interesting line. I think he's a decent play in DFS. Washington's pass defense, I mean, it can get beat, and I think that it's not going to be just pure running. I'm not sure that they are going to be able to just control the clock. I think there's going to be a couple of big plays for Pickens in this game.
Okay. All right.
Overall over
So
Najee though. Najee's got like 17 or more fantasy points in the last 3 games. So
Yeah.
all
let's
right.
get it.
So we've got Buffalo and Indy. Buffalo on the road. They are road favorites, minus 200 at Bet Rivers. A Colts win, home win on the money lines, plus 176 on FanDuel. Spread is 4, totals 46 and a half. Waleed, let's go.
I got nothing in this game.
Okay. Ryan.
I think this game's going to be super close. This has a chance to be one of those shootout games this year. I don't think it's going to be a straight up Buffalo undertaking as dictated by the minus 210 money line. Sneakily, the Colts are 4-0 against the spread this year, and 5-1 against as underdogs. At 3.5, I could see this game being easily decided by a field goal, and that minus 3.5 not covering. Also, the Colts, they're the fourth team right now in NFL history to have all of their first 9 games decided by one score margins. So this game's going to be close.
Okay.
This game's going to be close. I don't have, I don't have any of my top 5 bets from this game.
Okay.
But I'm going to be very interested to keep tabs on this because this could become one of those sneaky shootouts, 27-24 or something like that.
So my money line parlay, Buffalo's money line is one of those legs. And my same game parlay is in this game. I took an adjusted rush line of 60 plus for Jonathan Taylor. I took an adjusted money line of 50 plus for Khalil Shakir. And the Buffalo money line got me to plus 137. So
Yeah.
$10 on it, bring back 2370.
Yeah, we talked about Shakir last night on the podcast too.
I like that
They're
Keon Coleman's out.
And so was Amari
Coleman's out.
Cooper.
Yep.
So also, even if they didn't, the Colts are a slot funnel. So Shakir should be the focus of their passing game. Jonathan Taylor is going up against one of the softest run defenses in the league, and I think Buffalo's going to win. So give me plus odds for 3 things that I really like, and we'll just call it a day and move on.
Love it.
Sure.
All right. Denver at Kansas City. Kansas City heavy home favorites, minus 370 on the money line. A Broncos road upset would be plus 330 on Profit X. Spread is 8 or 7.5, depending on where you're looking, and the spread's 41.5. Waleed?
All right. So Bo Nix minus 152 interceptions. That's
I love it.
That's a bet I like. I'm not betting anything in this game, but if I can bet Bo Nix interceptions this game, I will.
All right, I'm with you. All right, Ryan, what do you got?
I also don't have anything from this game. I think this game is going to be closer than people think. Um, those Denver, Kansas Cities, especially the way Bo Nix has surprised everyone and played this year. This game could be sneaky. I mean,
Okay, he's
it sucks to say that Kansas City's going to win again and be still undefeated. Um, but they got to eventually lose sometime. This game could be a good division game for it to happen, but
I
I highly doubt it. But
I no. Here's the thing. Okay, I got to say how Bo Nix has surprised people because he's run the ball. He still is garbage at passing.
true.
Like, yeah, he's Blake
He's-
Bortles. All right,
He doesn't
that's
have
what he is. Blake
he doesn't have
Bortles
too many
looked good
people
in
to pass
fantasy,
to,
but
though.
if
I
you
mean,
watched football, he still sucked. Bo Nix
they're toting
sucks.
out little Jordan Humphrey, and they're not giving him too many options.
You keep banging that like little Jordan Humphries. They have Marvin Mims and they aren't using him. So
That's true.
that's on them.
I'll tell you what, I don't mind DeAndre Hopkins at 49.5 receiving.
I actually think he's a decent DFS play. Like that's I'll be honest, I have him in lineups. So
Because Sertan is an outside corner. They
yep,
put they put Hopkins in the slot
yep.
last week pretty extensively. So I think there's something to that. I'm not going to bet it for the show, but it's a line that I've thrown a couple bucks on in my personal life,
Okay.
which I try to keep separate from my professional life. All right,
As he should.
exactly. Atlanta, New
Call the
Orleans. New Orleans.
professional number. Call.
Correct. There is a number somewhere.
Yep. As we were speaking, I just got a reality check on FanDuel reminding me that I've been logged in for 115 minutes already. Um,
That's actually low for him though.
Yeah, they're like, "Hey, dude, you still got a while to go. You good? Drink some
Yeah.
water." All right. So Atlanta's going to New Orleans. Falcons are road favorites. You can get them -184. Saints home win would be +167. Lines 3.5. Spreads 46.5. Ryan, where do we start?
okay, so on Friday yesterday, I was going to have a top five bet from this game, but the more I thought about it, um, I didn't want to deal with uh, basically uh, it's the Saints defense losing Lattimore, and then Carr having basically no one except Tipton to throw to. I just wanted to point out that there have been 7 NFC South matchups this year, and all of them have gone over the total. So that was going to be my bet, the over 46.5. But I was like, what if the Saints don't even get 10 points? Um, so I rescinded that and I went with something else. But I just wanted to point out that NFC South matchups this year, they're averaging 58.7 points per game. But I think this is the one that breaks the mold because I could see this being 34-10 or something crazy. Just Atlanta blowing them out. So
Okay. Okay.
other than that, yeah, I don't have anything in this
Well,
game.
unlike Ryan, I am not afraid to bet on this game. One of my top five bets of the week is Ryan's top five bet of the week. Bijan over 73.5 rushing yards. Oh boy, do I love this bet. Uh, I mean, Saints have been giving up over 5 yards per a carry on the season, but over the last 4 weeks, they're giving up 5.5 yards per attempt. Bijan is going to eat. He has broken that total in 3 of his last 4 games. This is just a smash play for me. I love Bijan this week so much.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
I have nothing in this game. I'm just wondering if Derek Carr is going to get Mason Tipton killed this week.
Yeah,
I
right.
mean, like all signs point to yes. So here's my question, Ryan: are you still a big lover of Derek Carr, or are you just like has that love lessened?
I think
Has
it's
it
just a
waned?
bit. I think it's just a bit at this point. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we're all making fun of the guy who like was in love with a girl once. Be like, you loved her. You love Derek Carr. Why don't you guys kiss?
Yeah.
Ew,
I'm
you
I'm s-
kissed
I'm
them.
I'm very angry at what he did to my boy Olave because I had so
Uh,
much
y-
exposure to him in redraft this year.
Yeah, I loved Olave.
Someone in the Discord said that throw wasn't Derek Carr's fault, and I was like, it absolutely was.
Yeah,
He's the one that threw it.
Like, oh, Chris Olave's injury isn't on Derek Carr. Well, when you throw a middle cross high and make your guy leave his feet for it, knowing that
Right.
they have cover two, it kind of is your fault.
that's
Yeah.
so bad.
Yeah. I saw a video of Jameis Winston last year throwing the exact same route to Chris Olave as safeties were closing in on him. So he threw it low, so Olave had to dive for it, and he caught it, and there were no problems.
Yep.
Anyways, let's go San Francisco, Tampa Bay. San Francisco going to Florida. Tampa Bay are home dogs. A 49ers road win is minus 278. Tampa Bay to stay and win at home is plus 252. Line is 6.5. Total's 50.5. Waleed, what do you got?
Top 5 bet of the week. This is by far my favorite bet of the week because betting receiving overs against Tampa Bay this year has been one of the few things I have been doing right. I got George Kittle over 58.5. Oh, that line's gone up to 59.5 already since I placed my bet. That's what I love. You love to see it.
Yep.
So I got George Kittle over 58.5. On my usage model, like he hits pretty much 6 points where he's good because they use them in the slot too. And everywhere, inline routes, slot routes, and just tight ends in general. Tampa Bay is giving up top 5 yards per target to tight ends. Kittle is the best tight end in football in one of the worst matchups. Like, how can I not bet this?
Yeah.
Simple as that. It's such a good matchup.
That's also George Kittle over 58.5 is also one of my top 5 bets of the week. It actually started the week at 55.5. So
should have got in there early, but I was behind on my research.
That's the advantage of being a fucking shithead on Monday and Tuesday. So,
yeah.
Ryan, what do you got?
I don't have any singular prop bets or anything from this game, but I might be a degenerate and go and put like a few dollars down on the Tampa money line.
Well,
so
I am going to point out something else here because I do also have my other same game parlay of the week in this game. I did an adjusted line because I wanted to use one of my boosts on this. I got Kittle over 100 receiving yards, over 4.5 receptions and a touchdown. $10. That's going to pay at plus 8.97. It's going to pay out $99.78. You might not get a boost, but I like Kittle having not just I expect him to. I think his receiving line is too low at 58.5. I don't know that he'll get to 100, but I like going big on one of my parlays, and this is the one I'm choosing to, and I really actually like his chances of this. He has the best matchup of anyone in fantasy this week.
Okay.
Also, San Francisco has till like 3 p.m. Central Time to take McCaffrey. He's still not technically off IR unless that's happened since we started recording.
They'll do it at the last minute like all teams do.
Yeah.
He's
practiced in full all week.
Yeah.
For our listeners, do we expect does that 63.5 yard line seem exploitable, or is that going to be on a snap count?
If I may, yeah. I hung $20 on CMC over 63.5 earlier on FanDuel.
Yeah, I think.
Okay.
And
I think you have to.
Not only that, but I had a boosted money line on or a boosted parlay on BetMGM. So I did a 3-legger. He was 65.5 there. So I got CMC over 65.5, a touchdown, and San Francisco's money line. So I don't know if it's going to hit. That's why it's not an official bet for our show. But I almost just want to say that I was there when you could get a line for CMC at 63.5.
That's my thing.
True.
Like everyone's like, is he going to be healthy? But there's so many times. Like I remember seeing those Cooper Cup lines when he first came off, and they were so low. And I'm like, if he plays, there's a good chance if he's actually healthy 100%, that line is broken, and I'm going to take the chance that he's actually okay.
Right. All right.
Yeah,
so
I'm betting his rushing over because I'm never going to get it this low.
It's actually down. It's a 62.5 right now.
On
beautiful.
FanDuel, yeah, I see that. But it's 65.5 everywhere else.
I'm gonna put that in on my crazy show parlay. Every day when we're going through the show, I take the bets that we all are like pretty consensus on, and I put them in a parlay just for like $1 or $2.
Oh, you got to share that with me because I have my boost that I can use on DK where it'll just give me
Okay.
plus odds.
I got 5 legs right now
Okay, love
with
it.
with that Christian McCaffrey one.
And I'm over
Okay.
here with simply 2. All right. Tennessee going to LA. Our boy Shane's going to be watching this game live. I feel terrible for him. Chargers minus 345 on the money line. Titans are plus 320. Spread is 7.5. Point total 38.5. Ryan, start us off.
Sorry, which game?
Shane's
Chargers,
going to be
Tennessee.
at. Shane's going to
Oh
be
yeah,
at
the
this
Chargers
game.
game. So one of my top 5 bets of the week this week, I'm sorry, Shane, is Tennessee Chargers under 38.5 points. Both of these defenses are really good. Tennessee's number 1 against the pass. Chargers have been sneakily like in the top 10 defenses quietly this year. I could easily see this game being 17-10, 17-14, something like that, 20-13. I'm taking the under because this is also my Air Dangus game of the week. This is the game we want to watch the least.
You should
Um,
tell Shane to like make some merch for your show and like you know,
It's the Aer Lingus logo, but with Will Levis's face on it.
because you know that like there's not going to be that much interesting offensive action going on, so the cameraman's going to be like
Sure.
hunting for people that are, you know.
Yeah. They're doing
the,
something
the
weird.
shit the shit game shirt would just be say Air Dangus with a giant turd on it.
Right? Oh, also, can we just point out that this late slate, Tennessee, LA, Jets, Cardinals, Eagles, Cowboys, is garbage.
I hate it.
All right. So then let's go. I got nothing in this game. Waleed, Tennessee, LA.
No, thank you. Keep it.
All right. Jets going to Arizona. Jets are road favorites, minus 123 money line. Arizona home wins plus 115. Spreads 1.5. Totals 46. Waleed, what do you got?
Honestly, nothing. Don't care.
Cool.
This game,
Fair enough.
you said the afternoon slate sucks.
It does. Ryan?
My top 5 bets of the week, guys. Brees Hall. His um, reception and rushing prop was at 99.5 last night. It is now at 98.5. So that's where I got it this morning. I think this is potential for a Brees game. Um, I do think Devontae Adams gets his fair share, but I think the Jets are going to have to do a lot of running and passing to try and keep up in this game because Arizona's offense has been pretty good lately. But their defense is also pretty bad. So this could be also be the shootout of the afternoon,
Yeah,
I think.
that FanDuel line is also you got the best price because it's like 102 everywhere else.
Yeah, I locked it in at 98.5.
All right. I like Garrett Wilson this week, but otherwise, nothing that I'm going to put money on. All right. So cool. Down to our third afternoon game of the week. Philly going to Dallas. Philly are road favorites, minus 323 on the money line. Dallas home dogs plus 301. Spread 7.5. Total 43.5 or 44, depending on where you are, Waleed.
So there were 2 players in this game that I really was like interested in. And I was on the fence. If AJ Brown hadn't been practicing in full and like removed out the injury reports, I would have gone with Dallas Goddard because Dallas against tight ends, especially over the last 4 weeks, they might be the worst team against defending tight ends. So I will still have a side bet on Dallas Goddard's receiving over because his line is only 29.5. That's
You
pretty
can still
low.
do that because Smith is out, I think, Waleed.
Is Devonta Smith out?
I think so this week.
Yeah, he's iffy. I don't think he's. They're not. I'm not sure.
Oh, well, that makes me feel even better about the guy that I like the most. On my usage model, AJ Brown against Dallas over the last 4 weeks, to wide receivers, Dallas is giving up 11 yards per target to wide receivers, and to wide receivers lined up wide, they're also giving up 11 yards. AJ Brown's line is only 70.5. So I'm taking the role of Tony this week, and I'm just going hard on AJ Brown.
You're a smart man.
Yeah.
I have one of my top 5 bets of the week in this game, and it is Saquon over 84.5 rushing yards. Philly has the best defensive adjusted yards before contact per attempt matchup of the week. He has had 17 carries or more, 84 rushing yards or more in 7 of 8 games. Dallas is allowing the 10th most rushing yards per game to running backs, 108.8. I think this game is an Eagles ass whooping. As I said on the show last night, I think Sirianni's looking for his signature win of 2024, and I think they're going to beat the shit out of Dallas.
I mean,
I can't believe you got it at 84 and a half.
yeah, what
Dude,
is it now?
it's at 91 and a half.
Jesus. Yeah, maybe
Let's
still
see.
fuck it. Who cares?
It's 87.5 on BetMGM, so I'm gonna get that in
Okay.
real quick. But yeah, it's shot up.
Okay, but I'm gonna tell you on that AJ Brown because he's AJ Brown. What the fuck? Like, come on.
Goddamn right.
So, all right, cool. Let's move on. We're going to Sunday night. Detroit at Houston. I think a lot of stuff hasn't been posted yet because we're still unsure about Nico. Detroit are minus 179 as road favorites. Houston plus 170 as home dogs. Line is 3.5. Total's 48.5. Ryan, what do you got?
I actually just posted a bunch of stuff. I do have Detroit winning this game. I think this is going to be a barn burner of a Sunday night game. One that breaks the mold and is actually an over. So I do like the over in this game. Uh, Detroit's pass defense ain't that great. Houston's is decent, but not crazy good. Um, and we've seen that Detroit, if they really want to, they can just run it down your throats and just keep coming at you like that. And Jared Goff doesn't even have to throw for 100 yards. So I'm taking Detroit to win. Some of the lines Jay just posted, I don't know if you guys have seen these yet.
I'm pulling it up right
Uh,
now.
Dalton Schultz, 37.5. Tank Dell, 66.5. Joe Mixon, 19.5. This is all receiving. Sorry, guys. Rushing,
But there
yeah,
are no
80.
Nico Collins lines, which seems to imply
Yeah,
that they
there
don't
aren't.
think
Yeah,
Nico's playing.
yeah.
And Tank being at 66.5 tells you a lot, I think.
Mhm. Yep.
Oh, yeah. I guess that's a good point too. Yeah.
So it's too bad because this is like one of the best schematic matchups that Nico Collins is going to
Sure.
have all season.
Well, a guy in
Right.
one of my money leagues has Nico Collins in his starting lineup right now. So,
Getting a little too excited. So, Wally, do you got anything?
yeah, actually, there's one bet in this game that didn't make my top 5, but here's a fun little tidbit. Over the last 4 weeks, Detroit's run defense hasn't been that good. They've been giving up 5.4 yards per rushing attempt to running backs. I don't know why that is, but I do know that Joe Mixon at 81.5 on BetMGM, 79.5 on Bet Rivers is pretty low considering he's broken 100 yards in all but one game this year. And that
Yeah.
game, I think he got hurt.
Yeah, the
That
Bears
he
game.
didn't break it. Yeah. So, yeah, I think I think Joe Mixon's rushing over is actually a really smart play this week, and the line is low.
It's very contrarian.
I look, I mean, the usage is there. They're going to keep giving it to Joe Mixon.
Right. Well, the narrative is just Detroit's run defense is really good, so don't play
Yeah.
player.
Yeah, but that's not. But that hasn't been true the last 4 years. That's the
Correct.
thing that gets me. That might be the narrative, but that's not what actually has been happening.
Correct. All right. My millionaire bet is in this game. And I'm gonna make to you gentlemen a case for an Amon-Ra St. Brown touchdown this week. And it seems pretty simple. He scores a lot.
I'm here for it.
But he has the most fantasy points per game of all pass catchers on plays that start just inside the 5-yard line. He's averaging 4.2 fantasy points per game. That means
Okay.
he's scoring a lot of close range, like very close range touchdowns. He's the only full-time starter with a 4 or more fantasy points per route run inside the 5. I have like the 5 point. He's a 5 point score in my wide receiver model, which has been money so far through 2 weeks. Houston is 19th in zone defense, and inside the 10, that jumps to 11th highest. Inside the 10, Houston, when they play zone, they give up 2.81 fantasy points per drop back. So like they give up the only team that gives up more fantasy points per dropback inside the 10 to opposing offenses is Tampa Bay.
Okay.
And last but not least, Houston has allowed 11 touchdowns to opposing slot receivers this year. So I'm on Russ St. Brown anytime touchdown. It's a lot of talking for plus 120, but to me that seems like the biggest lock play of the week is an anytime touchdown from Amon Ra. So let's move on. Let's go to Monday Night Football. We are going to LA, Miami going to LA. LA home favorites minus 119, Miami road dogs plus 111. It's pretty much a toss up. Line is either plus 2 or minus 1 depending on where you go. Spread is 49. Ryan?
Well, you guys were talking earlier that you don't really know if Tyreek Hill's playing or not.
Right.
So I have nothing from this game right now. I actually took Rams win in confidence pool this week. Um, the Rams are just kind of on fire, and they've got both Cup and Puka Nacua back. And if Tyreek Hill doesn't play, it's gonna be tough for Miami. Tua doesn't seem like himself after that whole drama with the concussions either.
After his whole like fourth concussion.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Okay. Waleed?
So this missed out on being one of my top 5 bets of the week because the line's too high for a receiving line, but Devin Achan over 42.5 receiving yards against the Rams. Like from a usage standpoint, this model works really well, and he's like he projects to be the best receiving back of the week. So I find that interesting. I also really like the wide receiver matchup and a quarterback matchup for like Tua, Tyreek if he plays, Jalen Waddle if he doesn't. From a usage standpoint, it looks like a good matchup. So basically, depending on how I do on Sunday, we'll see what I bet on Monday on this
The
one.
my 8-point matrix has Jalen Waddle as one of the elite scores this week for players. The only other player that's going to play this week that had an elite score is Rashad Bateman, who hit everything on Thursday. So just food for
Yep.
thought. Um,
I
I
know
am
it.
I am gonna follow my model again, and I'm gonna hang $10 on Waddle over 42.5, just because I'm trying to see what shakes out. But yeah, I mean, I think that's cheap, especially if Tyreek might not play. Like, I kind of want to get that before we know for sure either way, because the model liked him with
Yeah.
Tyreek.
Yeah.
So we'll see how everything shakes out. And $10, not too much to invest to figure it out because these sheets take a while to generate.
Yeah.
All right, so those are our games. Those are our week 10 slates. So why don't you, Ryan, as our leader in top 5 bets of the week, why don't you run us through your top 5?
Guys, my top 5 this week. I'm going with the Tennessee Charger game. I'm going under the 38.5 points. I'm going Brees's all-purpose yards, 98.5. I'm going Aaron Jones over 70.5 rushing. Going Najee over 66.5 rushing. And I'm going DeAndre Swift over 71.5. Those would be my top 5 this week.
Okay, Waleed.
Sorry, I'm trying to pull up my top 5 bets of the week. Justin Jefferson over 92.5 receiving yards. George Kittle over 58.5 receiving yards. AJ Brown over 70.5 receiving yards. Najee Harris over 64.5 rushing yards. And Bijan Robinson over 73.5 rushing yards.
All right, you love to see it. My top 5: Tyrone Tracy over 72.5 rushing yards. Najee Harris over 64.5 rushing yards. George Kittle over 58.5 receiving yards. Saquon Barkley over 84.5 rushing yards. Drake May over 28.5 rushing. Waleed, since you're the parlay king, what do you got?
So I got my safer bet is Justin Jefferson over 92.5 receiving yards, over 6.5 receptions, a touchdown, and -2.5. At plus 410, I'm getting $51.20. I used a boost on that to get that price up as much as it was, but I would have taken it without the boost. Although I probably would have taken out the Vikings money line part.
Okay.
I also got George Kittle over 100 receiving yards, over 4.5 receptions, and a touchdown. This is my bigger parlay. I used another boost in it to get plus 897. It's going to pay out $99.78 when it hits.
Okay. Also, I want to point out Jalen Waddle's lines have been pulled for right now. So,
Oh shit.
bummer. All right. So, Ryan, you're second in parlay. So, what do you got?
My money line parlay guys this week is a 4-leg parlay. Taking Minnesota, Kansas City, Atlanta, and Detroit. My same game parlay, I went with our 3-way consensus, Najee's over 66.5 rushing. I went with a Najee touchdown and Freiermuth's over 25.5 yards. At plus 423, I put 8 units down to win a little over 41.
Okay. My money line parlay, short little 3-legger at plus 145. KC, San Francisco, Buffalo. My same game parlay, another little 3-legger of adjusted lines. Jonathan Taylor, 60 or more rushing. Khalil Shakir, 50 or more receiving, and the Buffalo money line. As your commissar, I'm going to go first with my Millionaire Challenge bet. I am going with the Amon-Ra anytime touchdown at plus 120. Waleed, your millionaire bet.
Go big or go home. I told you George Kittle is my favorite player of the week. I like getting some crazy odds. I actually was able to get some really insane odds. Plus 1320 for 2 Kittle touchdowns. I'm getting $142 if I win.
Was it?
Okay.
Do you put a boost on that?
I did put a boost, but I had it at
Okay.
1100.
Okay.
So even without the boost, 1100 is nuts.
And Ryan?
Mine, I just kept it a little bit simple this week. I just went with the Justin Jefferson anytime touchdown to get me back on the board after losing last week.
Okay. So let's go to our DFS plays of the week. Josh, I hope you're ready because we are going to have you go first. Who's your
Okay.
quarterback?
So my quarterback this week, I don't really like any of the guys outside of I don't think there's any sneaky quarterback
Chalk.
plays in my opinion. So I just went with Josh Allen in Buffalo.
Makes sense.
Yep.
Ryan?
Hey, going chalk is sometimes a really smart call.
Yeah, sometimes, yeah. You guys, you know what? This week, I think I'm gonna go with Kirk Cousins and Atlanta's route of New Orleans in this division game.
Okay. Waleed?
I think Sam Darnold at 6,200 on DraftKings is one of the best values at quarterback, and that's that guy I'm going.
Okay. And I am going to let Baker bake.
Love it.
Josh, your running back.
My running back, because I think he's gonna have a hell of a day, is Aaron Jones
Hell
Love
yeah.
it.
against
Love it.
Jacksonville.
Okay. Ryan?
I got to go with my all-purpose guy. I'm gonna go with Brees. He's gonna have over 100 all-purpose yards, I feel.
Okay. Waleed?
I'm going show consensus. Najee Harris at 6,200. I think that's just a good price.
Yeah, and that's a really good price too in DFS for him.
Yeah.
I had a feeling Najee was originally my guy. I'm going to pivot to a guy that I think is going to put up numbers and be incredibly low owned. I'm going to go with James Conner.
I like it.
Okay, yeah, I feel like that's a matchup where he's gonna be low owned. Yeah, you're probably right.
I mean, we just watched Joe Mixon tear him up.
Yeah, right.
So, Josh, your wide receiver play of the week.
So my wide receiver play, kind of going with what Ryan said earlier, is one Darnell Mooney.
I love it.
Darnell Mooney. Okay.
Okay. Ryan, your receiver.
Let's see. This week, might as well just put Mooney with Cousins. Let's go
Okay.
Mooney.
Okay. Waleed?
I am going as chalky as I can. Pairing up Sam Darnold with Justin Jefferson, the second best receiver in fantasy football right now. I'm paying up with one of the best matchups of the week.
Can you afford the rest of your lineup?
Oh no,
Right.
I'm going cheap in a lot of places here.
He's gonna have to put Nick Vanette in his tight end.
Right. No shit.
All I
right,
do
Josh.
not.
Your tight end.
So my tight end, because I have to go a little cheaper on this one, I'm gonna go all the way down to Zach Ertz. I think he's gonna have a pretty good game.
Bounce back. All right, Ryan.
Guys, my mid-tier kind of shitty tight end of the week. We're going Hunter Henry.
Okay,
Nice.
Waleed.
I've been going studs and duds. I'm going cheap in a lot of places because I'm paying up for George Kittle, 5,800.
You're 5 guys into your lineup. I'm yet to see a dud, but good luck.
Oh,
believe in
that's
you.
the rest of my lineup. Believe me.
Okay. If you can find a slate that also includes the early game, I think a real cheap salary saver is Theo Johnson this week.
Oh, yeah?
Unfortunately, most sites you don't have that option, so I am just going to be back on my Taysom Hill bullshit. Josh, your starting defense of the week.
So defense is where I'm gonna have to go like as cheap as possible, and I think that it's gonna be the Titans.
Okay.
Damn, Josh,
Tennessee.
I was just gonna say that. They're super cheap, and I don't know why. They're the number one pass defense in the league.
Yeah.
Ryan, do you want to double down? You're also sticking with Tennessee?
Yeah, I have to because that's a super deep. I don't know why they're so cheap. They're 3,400. They're the fourth from the bottom.
Okay. Waleed?
I'm going cheaper than that. On DraftKings, the Denver Broncos defense is only 2,400.
My man.
And they're actually a really good defense. So I'm just like, bullshit happens. I'll take the cheap thing so I can pay up elsewhere. I have to. I got Justin
Yeah.
Jefferson and George Kittle in my lineup.
Yep.
Right.
My defense is also Denver. So,
Yeah.
great minds. All right.
Yep.
So that's week 10. I hope we've got everybody that listens set up and ready to go. And that's it. So, Waleed, you are doing football absurdity writing. You do which articles every week?
Waiver wire article and the defensive streamer article. Defensive streamer went up real late because unfortunately I have a sick cat and my week has been a disaster. So,
Yep.
but
We do
there's some
Thursday
good
Night
options.
Sports Ball together.
Yep, we
Ryan, you and I do the TH Fantasy podcast together. Josh
That is correct.
produces everything. That's why you know it's good.
Yep.
And yeah, that's where we're at. So happy week 10, everyone. May you be successful in all your shit. Season's more than halfway over. Everything sucks, but that's it. We're good.
May the odds ever be in your favor.